Greetings, my YouTubians, ODZians, Slayin' Saiyans, Cobra Kais, my pumpkins who be smashing, and my gods who be machining. I'm Asherella, this is Original Asherella, and I am back, and I have missed you guys. Oh my god, I accidentally took like a little 3-week, almost a month hiatus from the channel. It wasn't really planned or intended, but you know, life is what it is. But the last time you guys saw me, I was getting ready to travel from North Carolina to Joliet, Illinois to see Billy Corgan and the Machines of God, and I did just that, and that is what we're going to be talking about today. But whenever I got back from my Joliet / Chicago vacation, I ended up having to do some traveling for work that was unexpected, and so I've just been super busy. Things have been super chaotic, and I didn't really have any content made ready to go, so I've just had like a lack of videos over the past few weeks. But I am here. I am not going anywhere. Right here in this chair in front of this camera, talking about, ranting about, raving about, loving the Smashing Pumpkins and all things Pumpkinsverse with you guys this is where I'm meant to be. That is what I am meant to do, and I am so excited to be back here to do that. And like I said, we're going to be talking about my experience with Mr. William Patrick Corgan and his Machines of God, and then there is a lovely YouTuber that has uploaded some very, very excellent quality videos from the Joliet show, so you know we're going to be watching one of those, and we're going to jump into all of this: my Joliet trip, my Chicago experience, my Machines of God experience. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. If you're watching on Odyssey, follow the channel. You can gently caress the notification bell so you know every time I upload a video. You can leave me a like, you may leave me a comment, you may buy me a coffee. You can do that. My link is down in the description. You can also buy something from one of my online shops. There's cool stuff, cool vibes, cool clothes. It's green, it's sustainable, and all the money I make there helps further my Pumpkinsverse desires. Most of that money goes to fuel my pumpkins budget, so I appreciate anybody that goes and checks out my online shops. And if you don't want to do any of that, at least go over to my social media things and follow me there. I have the X thing, I have the Threads thing, but I am the most active on the Insta thing. Alright, so I guess I'm just going to tell you guys about my whole Joliet trip. Like, it was great. Actually drove up. I'm going up for a night of Mellon Collie in November, and I'm definitely flying. But for this one, it's summertime. I have a convertible. Like, let's road trip it. So I drove from right outside of Asheville, North Carolina to right outside of Chicago, Illinois. And the drive up was pretty good. There was one, like, moment where I was like, I'm gonna see an actual Midwest tornado, and that did not happen, but it was an intense storm that I ended up having to drive through. And I stayed at the Hollywood Casino Hotel. Nothing exciting or special about that place, really. I mean, it's like what you expect from, you know, a smaller non-Vegas casino. Like, it was pretty decent. I actually won $100 playing roulette, so that was awesome. I went up like 2 days before the show just so I could like do the drive, have a day to rest, and then have the day for the show. And many of my other online Pumpkinsverse friends went to the Joliet show, so I got to meet a lot of my online Pumpkins people, and that was amazing. I did wear my silver custom Machines of God Zero dress, and that was really cool. Now, this festival is like a 3-day festival. It's called the Taste of Joliet Festival. So it's supposed to be, it's billed as like a food and a music festival, and there's 3 nights, and like Friday is rock day, Saturday is country day, and Sunday was Latin Day, and I only went to Friday, of course, but I thought it was interesting that it was billed as like a food and music festival, because literally like 75% of the food available was just like carnival food, and it was actually a carnival. They had a carnival with carnival rides, and then all these like, you know, hot dogs and like, you know, sausages and cotton candy and funnel cakes and fried Oreos. Like, almost all of the booth and food vendors were something like that. There were a few that weren't, but I was expecting more like food trucks and local restaurants and things like that. I'm like, ooh, I'm right outside of Chicago. I'm gonna get some good Chicago style pizza at this festival. But that ended up not being the case. So the food part of the Taste of Joliet Festival, like C- even. There was a literal carnival there happening too. So got to ride some carnival rides, got stopped by the river. It's like the alternative radio station out of Joliet, because they saw my dress, and they talked to me for a bit and about the channel, about my pumpkins love. So that was really, really awesome. But what the coolest thing about this was that, okay, I had front section tickets. So you could buy a ticket to get into the festival, which was the carnival and the food vendors and all the, business booths and things like that, which you would be kind of like, it was on a football field. It was like in this stadium. So you could have like any of these like stadium kind of side seating. But the front section, literally, it was probably from the front of the stage to the back of the front section was maybe like 20 yards. Like, it was a really small little front pit type area. And my ticket was only like $80. I bought mine as soon as it was announced. I had to, watch a couple other bands to secure my place in the front, but that's something I'm always willing to do when the Pumpkins or Billy or anything Pumpkins like adjacent or Pumpkinsverse is involved. So like Return to Dust, who's been opening for Machines of God the whole tour, they were pretty good, and their poor bass player had a broken foot, but he was still rocking it out. And then the band before them was this like, I don't know, weird medley cover band. It's like all they did were like cover songs, but not even just cover songs. It was like medleys of like 20 different covers all in one go. They would do like a verse or a chorus of each song and then transition that into the next song, which I could see that being super fun for like a bar band or a party band or whatever, because all the songs they played, it was everything from like Dolly Parton to Whitney Houston to Bon Jovi to, newer rock and things like that. So it was really interesting. But the main event, Mr. William Patrick Corgan and the Machines of God, that was excellent. We're going to talk about that really quickly. But before we talk about the actual show, I've got to tell a story that is just so coincidental. I don't even know the word for it. It's not really ironic. I think coincidental, I guess, or fitting or appropriate. I don't know. I'll tell you guys and you tell me what the word for this is. But so the day before the festival, my rest day from the drive, I drove to Highland Park. That's where Billy lives and where Madame Zuzu's is. And I had made plans to go there a few times in the past and they had never worked out. But so this is my actual first time of getting to go to Madame Zuzu's. So that was amazing. I got to go to Madame Zuzu's, had lunch, and then everything. But I was eating and I took my fangs out and set them on a napkin, and some way, somehow, I ended up throwing my main set of fangs away at Madame Zuzu's. Like, is that not like poetic? Or I don't know, everybody's like, it's just like a sacrifice to the realm of Corgan, like if I were sacrificing anything that is Asherella, my fangs are a huge part of Asherella. My fangs are part of what makes me Asherella. So that was kind of cool and kind of appropriate. The food and drinks were actually really great. They have some interesting merch there. So I ended up buying Agori on vinyl, just the standard version of Agori on vinyl at Madame Zuzu's, because I didn't have a physical version of it. I only had a downloaded version of it to this point. And then the day after the festival, I went into actual Chicago and took in a lot of the city and saw a lot of the sights. I actually even went over to the Lyric Opera, where I will be going in November to see A Night of Mellon Collie and the Infinite Sadness. Took some photos in front of the big, marquee sign, but the posters for the upcoming shows and things like that. I took a picture in front of the one with Billy on it, advertising Mellon Collie. So that was really cool. Chicago is windy, and I know they call it the Windy City, but it really is crazy windy. I saw the lake, and you just would not believe how stinking windy it is. Like, it was like, June. It was a hot, nice, beautiful day, but the wind was whipping. It's crazy. Like, I think it's from, you're getting like that lake effect wind off of the lake, and then all of the buildings are so tall, and it's just like, going down these like it's being forced into like smaller spaces than the wind would go naturally, I don't know. But Chicago was really cool. Madame Zuzu's Highland Park was really cool and fun. It actually reminds me a lot of the town right outside of Asheville that I live in. I do want to talk about the show. Now, it was awesome. Now, for those who don't know, the Machines of God, Billy Corgan and the Machines of God, is Billy Corgan, and then our current Smashing Pumpkins guitarist, Kiki Wong. But on bass, a musician named Kid Tiger. Her real name is Jenna Forner. Forner? I think, Forner, something like that. And the drummer, Jake Hayden. Whenever it was announced that Jenna was going to be playing bass, there was all these comments like, oh, she looks just like Darcy. She looks just like Darcy. No, she doesn't look just like Darcy. Just because they both had light blonde hair does not mean they look alike. And I hate when people do that and are trying to do that. You know what I mean? Yes, Billy... I know there seems to be some, like, coincidence in who band members are filling in for here and there, but like Jenna and Darcy do not look alike. I think it's totally coincidental. She did a fantastic job on bass, and of course Miss Kiki Wong was on fire. Kiki was amazing. She is like the coolest baddie. She's beautiful, she shreds, like she's funny. Kiki really is, almost like the total package. And then, Jake Hayden did a fantastic job. He's no Jimmy Chamberlain, but who is? And they really did all of the songs on the set list justice. Now, because Joliet was a festival setting, the set was a little bit shorter than the other, like, club, the other venue dates. Joliet and Summerfest had different set lists than the rest of the tour. Summerfest, their set list got cut even shorter. I think we only got cut like a couple of songs. Summerfest, I think, ended up getting cut like a few more songs. But all of the ones that I really, really wanted to see were in, and so it was great. Now, this is the t-shirt that I got from the show. I'm all alone in my soul. I betrayed rock and roll. And if you know the Pumpkins, or you know Machina, or the Machinas, you know that this is from where it's a reference to Glass's theme, and that is what they opened the show with. And it was really cool. You come out of the gate like really fast, really upbeat, really like staccato, like driving force of a song, and it was so cool. And my highlights from the show, I'm trying to think of, like, I've talked about this so many times, like I'll remember a song that I was like, oh yeah, that was amazing. But Poor Selena, oh my god, was so great. Poor Selena Live was amazing. Let's see. Eden Live was one of the highlights for me. Eden was so good. Not joking with you people, I started tearing up. Well, I started tearing up whenever they came onto the stage, right at the beginning of the show, because that's what I do when I see Billy Corgan, So, band's coming on stage, I get teary-eyed, but I also, it's not uncommon for me to get teary-eyed during a live Pumpkins or Billy thing, but if there is a God, for whatever reason, that struck me so emotionally on that night. It was so good. And then it went into Bodies, which was another highlight for me. Every song was great. Every song sounded amazing. The stage was a little weird because there was like this runway on it, but the band was lined up at like the front of like the main stage. And I was really hoping Billy would come out more on that little runway because I was like right there up front at the runway. But I had an amazing view the whole time. I got great pictures right up front, lots of Billy Corgan, in my face. And it was just so great. Oh my god. And Muzzle Live, and that's actually what we're going to be watching today, is Muzzle Live. I'm just like, I keep going back and like flashing back into the show, but it was so good and just so cool and such an interesting concept. Now, I felt like the crowd was a little tame. This is something that's for a very, very specialized fan, you know? Like, casual Pumpkins fans might be interested, but anybody that's more than just a casual Pumpkins fan is going to be all about this. You know, Billy Corgan, the Machines of God, Billy Corgan's own, like, Smashing Pumpkins tribute band. You know, it's sort of like, you'd think that everybody that was there would be, like, the hardest of the hardcores, and there were a lot of hardcores there, but, I guess because of the festival setting, and you have people coming in that are there for other reasons, too, that is one of the reasons that the crowd was, like, tamer than I would expect them to be. I was probably, like, the loudest, screamy, wildest one. There were other loud, screamy, wild, dancey, like, people, but, like, it was just like, there were so many people around in the masses that were just like, you know, and I'm like, oh my God, Billy Corgan, the Pumpkins, we are like in Jimmy Chamberlain's hometown. We are right outside of Chicago. But Billy, the next time he streamed on Substack, I had mentioned that the crowd was kind of tame at Joliet, and he said that, yeah, that was just kind of to be expected with the festival setting, because you are bringing in people that aren't necessarily there just to see you, so it's not as much of a concentrated group of like your fans, I guess, but it was still a really great show, and I would just thought the crowd would be a little wilder. The other thing about Joliet, because it was the festival setting, there was no VIP situation, so you couldn't buy VIP, like, access to do, like, pre-show Q&A or anything like that. So I did miss out on that. Now, the next day they played in Grand Rapids, Michigan, which is only like 3 hours away from Joliet, and I was like 20 minutes from loading the car up and driving up to Grand Rapids. I did not do that, though. A few things led into that decision. I really kind of wish I had, but I still think it was for the best that I ended up not doing it. But overall, it was a fantastic show. Billy never disappoints, and his energy was good. His mood was up. He made jokes about Joliet, you know, not jokes about Jimmy being from there, but because he knows the town, he made jokes about Joliet. He made some jokes about the Pope being from Chicago, and just like seemed to be having a good time. And that is always when Billy performs at his peak. When he wants to be there, when he enjoys what he's doing, that is when Billy is the best. Absolutely. Now, we're going to watch Billy and his Machines perform Muzzle from the Joliet show. Thank you so much to Chicago TRS, I think is the YouTube channel that uploaded these really excellent quality videos for us to enjoy. So yeah, before we get into that, lots of other stuff going on in the Pumpkinsverse. Today, as I am recording, yesterday, Saturday, was the Back to the Beginning Ozzy farewell show that Billy participated in. So my next video is going to be all about that. Now we know that the Pumpkins are about to head out on their European tour and then go into the Asian leg of the tour. So going to be a lot of Pumpkins things to cover over the next couple of months, and I am so excited. Have you guys watched any of the videos from the Ozzy farewell, the Black Sabbath final farewell show? Let me know down in the comments. But without further ado, I think I've talked for like 20 minutes now. Let's watch Muzzle. This was June 20th, 2025, as previously mentioned, in Joliet, Illinois.
If you know the lyrics, please sing along. It's about a Joliet girl.
What I was talking about, the runway on the stage, it pretty much ends where it ends here on the video, and then I was right there in front of that. And I didn't mention it before, but I did get recognized by a few people at the show. It's really surreal that people have at pumpkin shows and, you know, not Pumpkins, but Machines of God shows, you know, approached me and known me from my YouTube channel and from the Smashing Pumpcast. I'm just like, what is life when I am recognized out in public? And I mean, this is a very specific and specialized public right here, but for my love of the Smashing Pumpkins, like, I love that so much. It's like the coolest fucking thing. I can't think of anything cooler, really. And I appreciate everyone that watches and supports my love of the Pumpkins. You see, like, look how happy Billy looks. Like, he's just having a good time playing. I think it's like, these shows were like, I mean, there was some pressure for this idea to work, but like, it's not the full band, you know, it's these smaller club venues, it's these smaller event type things, and Billy really seems to be having a good time. Yes, I've heard the words you're singing in these songs. Okay, we got a comment on, can you see, or I'm in the way. Kiki actually has the Machines of God emblem that we have now, like, on her leather pants here. Very cool, very badass. She always looks freaking amazing.
But I knew exactly where I was. And I knew the meaning of it all. I knew the distance to the sound. I knew the echo that is love. I knew the emptiness of you. I saw the sound to the past. I knew the emptiness of you. I knew the miles of the sun. It's right to your head. That's by your heart.
You know, I can listen to Muzzle 1,000 times and it still gets me in the feels every time, every single time. Like I said, nobody's Jimmy Chamberlain, but Jake Hayden did a great job. Oh man, maybe we can see me in the crowd. I'm like probably further up. I'm gonna be like right here, but it's all blur. Oh, that's not what we were going to watch. But if anybody has the full show or know of anybody that has the full Joliet show, let me know. I'm sure some of those woos, close-up woos, were me, because whoever was taking this couldn't have been very far from where I was. Alright, so that was Muzzle from June 20th, 2025. Not by the Smashing Pumpkins, but by Billy Corgan and the Machines of God at the Taste of Joliet Festival in Joliet, Illinois. I was there. Asherella was there. It was a great time. Again, it was so great to meet some of my online Pumpkins people, my Pumpkins family that are out there that were at Joliet. That was amazing. And again, the people that I didn't know that knew me, that was great too. It was really amazing to meet you guys. Did you go to any of the Machines of God shows? Let me know down in the comments. What did you think? What was your highlights from the show? Again, like I said, Eden Live was so great. Porcelina, oh God, it's just so good. I might do a Machines of God Porcelina video here, because Porcelina just feels like summer. It's one of those songs that make me feel the like magic of this time of year. I don't know. Am I crazy? Warm weather and being just enveloped by all that feels good about this time of year. But anyway, I'm going to tangent if I keep talking, and I've always talked a lot during this video. Now, anybody have any thoughts and feels about the Back to the Beginning Aussie farewell event that just happened that Billy was a part of? Let me know about that. I'm going to do a video on that next, I do believe. Anybody have any suggestions for content? Let me know down in the comments. I'm so happy to be back to regular filming schedule. Like I said, in this chair, in front of this camera, or in front of a better camera, in a better chair, in a better place. That'd be okay too, but this is where I'm meant to be. Sharing my love of the Pumpkins with you guys. That's what I'm meant to do in life, I think, and make Smashing Pumpkins customized dresses. Those are my fortes in life. But that is it for today. I am Asherella. This is Original Asherella, and if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. If you're watching on Odyssey, follow the channel. You can gently press the notification bell so you know every time I upload a video. You may leave me a like, you may leave me a comment, you may buy me a coffee. You may also visit one of my online shops. Coffee money and online shop money all goes to help further fuel my Pumpkinsverse budget. So make sure you check those out. Go to your social things. Find me on my social things. I have the X thing. I have the Threads thing. But I am especially active on the Insta thing. And I also have the TikTok thing too that I post to periodically. So if that's all you got, go check me out there too. I hope everybody is having a great summer so far. I just am so happy to be filming again. I gotta stop talking. Always tap in, never tap out, and don't forget to keep on smashing like a pumpkin.